Let's do it.
Okay, going live. Passage has put together the ultimate way to help you pay for your tuition and cost of living requirements in Canada in programs that are aligned with the jobs that are needed in Canada to not just help you secure a job out of school, but also to put you on a path to permanent residency in Canada. Today, I'm here live with Bobby from Passage to answer your questions after you watched the very detailed video that we posted on Sunday. And if you didn't, you can go back and watch it afterwards. But we're going to help you to find out how Passage can help you to fund your studies in Canada and how they match international talent with labor needs in Canada. Now, you need to understand that these loans are not infinite and they're not unlimited. There are cutoff numbers and deadline dates that you need to take note of. So watch this to the end. That question is coming up, so you know the important deadlines that you need to be taking note of to apply for these loans. Okay? Okay. So Bobby, we have some pre-submitted questions. So we're going to go through those pre-submitted questions first, and then we're going to go through the questions, and if any questions come through in the chat.
Let's
So
do it.
thank you for joining me again, Bobby. It's great. We had fun last time. We're going to have fun
Thanks
again
for
today.
having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so here's our first question. Okay. Hi, Monique in the chat. Do you help individuals who are desiring to change their career goals entirely based on what is happening in today's society? And is there any age limit for somebody who wants to do that, who wants to apply for a loan?
Okay, let's dive in. The first answer is absolutely yes. That's literally what I'm here for. I want to help people pursue their ambitions regardless of what those are. Okay, so no worries at all if you're switching your career totally. Age gap, no. We base a lot of the information on the school's eligibility requirements. I'm not so cool that I can tell a school what to do and who to accept into their programs. So we base a lot on what the schools themselves offer. There is no age limit, but there is a study gap maximum for some countries. So while you're going through the application process, our software will automatically tell you whether you're in one of those countries and how long that max study gap can be. And for most people, it's not a problem. So I would say expect it's not an issue, but our software will let you know if it is for your specific case.
Okay, perfect. So that is when they go through the sign-up process, or can they just find that out before they go through the sign-up process?
We are building the eligibility requirements up front so people can see before, but right now, as you're entering information, it's one of the first things that's asked. So you don't have to invest a lot of time to figure that out. It will tell you really quickly.
Got it. Okay, perfect. So you guys will have the link to go and sign up and figure out your eligibility and to calculate the loan stuff in the description below or in the chat, depending on when you're watching this. So look out for that link. And yeah, that's I like you guys, like you said earlier today, you guys are very techie. You guys have built a lot of figuring out into this. So I like that. Cool. Our next question. So someone who is already in college in Canada, this person is at George Brown, to be precise. They're doing a one-year postgraduate program already, and they want to do a second one-year program. Are they eligible or qualified for a loan for this next one-year program at a college in Canada, at George Brown?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's actually a really common pathway. People take 1 year postgrad, another 1 year postgrad, and we would be happy to help as long as you're interested in applying for one of the eligible programs for our financing. There's no reason why we can't help you.
Got it. So as long as the program is on the list.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect. Cool. Next question. If I have already gained admissions into college in Canada to read, to study a dual diploma in digital marketing specialist and advanced co-op computer science in CICCC, and that is Cornerstone International Community College of Canada. Say that 5 times fast. I want to find out if Passage can help me with a loan. So that's somebody who's already gotten admission to this college, Cornerstone International Community College of Canada. Will they be able to get a loan?
Great question. It's one I get a lot, not from Cornerstone specifically. I just mean from other letters of acceptance. Unfortunately, we're not able to. We offer loans only for specific eligible programs that you can find through the link that you'll see below this video. Why? It's because there are a huge number of programs in Canada, something like over 15,000. Before I say yes to offering loans for a program, I have to do an incredible amount of work looking back 10 years, finding all of the international student graduates, what jobs did they get, how much did they earn, did they get PR, all this stuff. So it takes me an incredible amount of time. And so we're starting small to make sure we can offer all of our students the best possible experience and the best possible chance of success. There are a lot of programs out there that are good that we don't offer, not because of any other reason than I haven't got to them yet. Year one, we're going to start small and only offer George Brown in the top schools across Canada. And then next year, we'll open it up to more colleges and more schools. So number one, I would urge you to be aware of something. In the last 3 months, government immigration policy has changed, and the wind is blowing toward the direction of labor shortages. So if you have an intention, and I'm not saying you do, but if you do have an intention of trying to stay in Canada and pursue PR eventually, I really urge you to find and think of, or at least consider a program in healthcare, in skilled trades, or in STEM. My personal prediction is that it will be very hard to pursue PR from traditional business programs from colleges.
Cool. And so that's why in the beginning I said that you guys are funding to programs and schools align with the labor needs to put you on a path to permanent residency and align with the economic immigration programs, right?
Exactly. It's a big, complicated mess, and I don't want to say what the government will or will not do. It's obviously their call. I'm kind of seeing the overall trend and where things are going. So I just want to make sure students are aware and are making the best decision they can for what they want.
Perfect. Yes. And then this question I think is very similar to that one, but I'm going to ask it just the same because that one was about a community college in Canada. And we know that there are no privately funded community colleges on your list. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
We are probably only ever going to work with public colleges and public universities, mostly because they go through more rigorous vetting and testing. We'll definitely consider it, but I would expect we're going to stick with public schools for the next few years at least.
Got it. And so here's the extension question that is very similar. So since students are in charge of their own admissions for master's programs at universities for now, will you only fund eligible studies provided on your list in a master's program?
Absolutely. The same answer applies. All of the eligible programs can be found at the link below. But the core insight here is that this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, but there are good pathways and there are not so good pathways. We will only offer vetted pathways that we believe give people an extremely high chance of success. That's not to say that if we don't have it, the program is bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying the reason why it's not easy for us to just offer loans to other masters that you've been accepted to is I haven't vetted that it actually gives you a really good chance of success. That's just the honest truth. And I don't want to mislead students. So I can only do that one successful student at a time.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. So we have a couple questions in the chat here that I did want to go through here. Before I get to those questions, I do want to know how long does it take for the full process from, say, for instance, the perspective of a college student, because we know that for the colleges, you help with the application. For the universities and the masters, they have to apply and then come to you for the loan. So for the first phase, which is the students from colleges, how long does it take? If they come to you and say, I'm interested in cybersecurity, from that point to the end, like, here's your loan, here's your money, go.
Yeah, the answer is once you know that you want to study at an eligible program, and if you have your documents together, you will go from starting your application to getting an answer of whether you get your letter of acceptance within 10 days. We can do our stuff very, very fast. Most of the time, it actually takes a student all what they need to get together. So getting the passport, getting their notarized transcript, English proficiency test or exemption. Once you have your stuff, we can do our part incredibly quickly. So you'll know whether you get letter of acceptance within 10 days. That's including the loan approval. Then you obviously have to submit for study permit, and that's on the government. But our part of the process is very, very fast.
Okay. Wow. That was that was 10 days. Wow. Okay. That's good. Okay. So here's some more questions now. Somebody asked about Memorial University of Newfoundland. So is a loan offered to a wider variety of Canadian universities in different provinces besides the ones we see on Passage's website? So they've done some research, it sounds like. Okay.
I appreciate that. Unfortunately, I might sound like a broken record, but we're only offering loans for the programs listed on passage.com. There's no exceptions for now. I did mention that we are planning on obviously adding more schools and more programs in the future. But maybe one thing to keep in mind is Passage will never offer every school and every program. Even if we do work with Memorial in the future, we will handpick programs from that school. That data shows it's actually leading to successful graduates, period. Okay, so just so you know, I'm always starting backwards from what programs and schools actually set students up for success and can demonstrate that. That's when I'll come in and make sure that I can fund people who are deserving but don't have the money. Passage would never, ever offer all the programs.
Right. Yes. Now remember, guys, it's the programs plus the labor needs in Canada plus the pathway to permanent residency. The idea is for you to be successful and not just study for the sake of studying, which is sometimes, unfortunately, what happens with immigration.
Or another thing that happens that's sometimes more problematic is the world changes, Canada changes. And so something that was good 3 or 4 years ago, what will happen is someone's older cousin or friend of the family will come here and they'll study a program. Then when it's time for you or your brother or sister or whoever, they'll ask them and they'll say, hey, what's it like in Canada? I'm thinking of this program. Is it good or bad? They're not trying to mislead you. Unfortunately, the world changes. And so give you one example of that. The rise of project management programs over the last 3 years, it's grown incredibly fast. Number of jobs for people with a project management background has not increased at the same rate. So in other words, you're competing with more and more people for the same limited number of jobs. So it was a great idea 4 years ago. Is it a great idea today? I think it's a lot tougher. And part of my job, I guess, is trying to always keep updated. Like as of today, we know our good options.
Right.
Yeah.
The program that the person was asking about, I know Memorial University is not on the list. However, the program may be at a different university, hypothetically speaking. So the program was a Master's of Computer Science.
Yep. We have that covered across, I think, 12 of the U15, which are the top universities internationally recognized across Canada. These are the University of Toronto, the Waterloo, the UBCs, McMaster, Carleton. If you are eligible and can get admission to any of those programs at those schools, we would be happy to work with you on financing.
Okay, so yes to the Masters of Computer Science, no to the Memorial University. So maybe try another option in terms of the school, right? Because then you can get funding for that. Perfect. Okay, so here's somebody researching some jobs, and I see some employers asking for bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. So a bachelor's degree, but we know that if you go to a college, you're not getting a bachelor's degree. How does this 1-year post-grad certificate at George Brown help to bridge the gap in terms of securing a job?
Oh, this is such a good question. So an employer is a person. At the end of the day, there's an individual within that company that's expected to do something. They don't have the people currently, and so they want to hire more people so they can get more done. Okay, that's the basics of hiring. So when a hiring manager lists a stated set of requirements, pretty frequently they have no idea. I honestly don't know if there's such a thing as a bachelor's dedicated to cybersecurity. I
Mm,
don't know if that's a thing.
mhm. Good points.
That is the ideal situation for them. They want someone who spent a lot of time and can demonstrate deep knowledge of cybersecurity.
Mhm.
So in Canada, whenever you're seeing job requirements, you should think of what are they really asking. When
Yeah.
someone asks you to be a master's in computer science, they really want someone who really understands technology.
Mhm.
And when they say they want a bachelor in cybersecurity, what they're really saying is, I want someone who can start the job and be capable in this field.
Mm.
So this is why everything goes into this question of what is the quality of the school? What is the quality of the program?
Mhm.
All cybersecurity programs are not created equal. We obviously know this. Everyone knows that if you go to Harvard and you study the same thing versus some unknown school, people will recognize that you went to Harvard. This is no different.
Mhm.
In this situation, George Brown is a top school across the country.
Mhm.
Their programs in STEM, healthcare, and skilled trades are at the top of the top across the country. So if any program you can go to, unless there actually is a Bachelor of Cybersecurity out there, then I urge you to go and apply there directly. This gives you as good of a chance as anything else. In fact, what's also really cool about George Brown is they have way more connections directly with employers than other schools. So it ends up being one of the best places to set you up to actually get a job and hit the ground running once you graduate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. I wish I could offer guarantees, but unfortunately they don't exist in the real world.
And that's yeah, and that's fine too. And guys, honestly, anybody that's offering you a guarantee for anything, you should question it.
Yes.
Especially when it comes to
You
this.
heard it here first. Yeah.
You heard it here, right? All right. So now we answered this question a little bit before, but now it's coming a little bit more direct. Maybe this person joined after we started. So I'll just ask it one more time. Is there an age limit for getting a loan from Passage to study in Canada?
No.
There we go. Um, so this is interesting. Okay, so this is very specific. Would I be able to get a loan to do a Master's of Science, MSc, Master's of Science in Food Processing and Quality at the University of Alberta? Is the University of
You
Alberta?
should message our support. I'm a huge fan of the University of Alberta and frankly think it's one of the most underrated universities in the country. I don't believe we're offering loans today to that program, but it sounds like something we might be interested in considering more deeply. So you can find our website and find the support number and message it on WhatsApp or reach out to us on Instagram, anywhere all connects to our customer support systems, and we'll help you figure out if it's possible. So my short answer is no right now, but maybe we can consider it.
And I guess, does Masters of Food Processing and Quality sound like it's on the list of, I guess you wouldn't, would you know that off the top of your head?
Probably not, no. Like we're focused more on technical
Tech,
masters that
right?
are
That's what I thought.
applied computing, statistics, artificial intelligence, that kind of stuff. On
Ooh,
the edge
AI.
is these other areas of engineering, whether it's civil, mechanical, and so on. So it sounds like it's close, but I don't know if it fits perfectly. So that's why I said I'll do some more digging. My short answer is I believe no, but maybe we can consider it.
Okay. Okay. I like that you mentioned AI. Hint, hint, guys. Like that's the direction that the world is moving in, right?
Yeah.
AI programs. I would do an AI program if I had like a doppelganger to go to the
Yes.
school part and give me the information.
I say it to myself every day.
Yeah. Maybe I'll do some AI research one time when I can't sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Is there a bonding period with Passage and the employer after study?
A bonding period. I'm not quite sure what that means. I think I understand the intent.
Yeah.
Let me maybe just explain what we do and what we hope we'll do in the future. So think about it this way. Passage was built specifically to make sure that our incentives are in line with student incentives. Personally, I think that's something that's broken in international education today. So what do I mean by our incentives are aligned? Think about it this way. We're putting our own money up to help make sure you can cover your tuition and living costs, right? If you don't go on to be successful, you're probably going to struggle to repay the loan, and that's going to hurt me. So for Passage to be successful, by definition, all of our students need to go on and do awesome stuff. If Passage students aren't successful, it guarantees my life is going to be really, really hard. So inevitably, whenever you think like, hey, like, how would Passage think about that? You can probably answer the question by just what I went through right there. So the answer is we are going to work directly with employers to help make sure all of our students get great starting jobs after school and go on to do incredible things in their lives and careers. Another maybe nerdier angle for those of you who are interested is we are building Passage as a technology platform. And that platform has a specific meaning where we build our technology in such a way where it allows others to build on top of what we do. So rather than Passage having to do all of the work ourselves, we can expose the work that we do to other awesome businesses or applications, much like think of the Apple App Store. You can build on top of Apple's technology and get your product or app out to everybody who uses Apple phones.
Right. Okay.
We're doing a similar thing for study abroad. So we'll be able to work with partners in every aspect of what will help people settle and become successful. Whether we specifically do it or whether we work with an awesome partner, it'll be a case-by-case basis.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, so there's $1 million question on this. We're coming up to the $1 million question of cutoff and deadlines, which means that you guys need to know these dates, right? Don't sit asking 1 million questions if you're really interested in doing this, because you need to know when to pull the trigger and when it's too late to pull the trigger. So we're coming up to that question. One, is there consideration for January winter 2025 intake? So that would be January 2025. Yep. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We work with all intakes. So there's generally 3: September, January, May. We work with all 3, so there's no problem there. For deadlines for September, they are starting to creep up. So if you're intent on studying this September, I would really recommend you getting in your application submitted through Passage by the end of March. Preferably give it at least a week buffer in case any weird things happen with who knows what. I always like to be a little conservative, but I would really recommend by the end of March at the latest to give yourself a good chance for September.
Okay, for September, March, end of March. Just so you guys know, today is March the 5th. It's here. So you have a couple weeks to get it together. So don't be dilly-dallying is what we would say in Jamaica, and not getting your ducks in a row and actually taking advantage of this opportunity. Is there a quota for the number of loans that you will issue for a student year? Like, is there a cutoff?
No, not really. The answer is we are here to provide access to awesome people who are struggling to get access to it today. So the more awesome people that are coming through and applying, the easier it is for me to go round up more money to make sure people have more opportunities, right? It's not that's not the harder part. So the short answer is no. The more the merrier. If you're eligible, you're capable, you're excited to work on awesome things, yeah, let's go.
So I'll add another layer to that answer too, is that Passage may not have a quota or cutoff. However, colleges have a quota or cutoff for the number of students they will take for an academic year. So let us say for cybersecurity, they will take 59 students perhaps for the May intake. So there is a quota of the sort that you need to take into consideration. And all of this will lead up to like how urgent are you treating this situation with getting into school in time and getting your loan approved on time to get your visa to get to Canada on time, so you don't end up having to defer or anything like that. So cutoff deadline for September, you want to be getting your things ready for the end of March. And the quota is to take note of on the school side for how many people they will take. Anything else? Any stone unturned? Any more questions in the chat before we go here today, guys?
I have maybe one point I can jump in while people are adding questions to the chat. So one thing that I'll be clear about is we don't want people, because there's been a lot of uncertainty with changes, the world is incredibly run by gossip. I hear it all the time, even today. And so just to be clear for everybody, if you're interested in applying for September, but you have a little bit of fear left over of, what's going to happen? Should I wait? Should I do whatever? Just to be clear, Passage will cover all fees if you don't get your letter of attestation or your study permit. So there's really no risk of putting an application through. Give yourself the chance of being able to come in September. If it doesn't work out, you'll get a full refund and we can try again for January. So I just wanted to make that part clear to everybody.
Okay, perfect. So I'm dropping a link in the chat here. That's where you're going to go to Passage's website to be able to see what programs are available, what schools are available. I just saw your question come in about theological studies. So I want you to go ahead and go to the Passage website, figure out what programs are available at what universities. And you can also go on there and do your loan calculation to understand what collateral is required, what the interest rate is, how much money you're going to get a month. Everything is there on the Passage website. So click the link in the description and browse Passage's website. There's one more question here. So let me just answer what that one. Let's just ask what that one last question. And then we're going to sign off in a few minutes. Are students placed in jobs after studying? Given that it's a one-year program, which equals 1 year postgraduate work permit, how soon would a student be able to apply for PR after working? That's a double layer question. So one question is for Passage, I think, and one question is more about immigration. Kim.
Yeah. So the first answer is yes, we'll definitely help you. We really need every student we work with to be really successful. So rest assured there. The second one is the specifics of PR. This is a restricted area in Canada. You need to be a certain designation, a RCIC or an immigration lawyer, to give very specific immigration advice. So I'm going to tactfully avoid the question. What I will say is kind of a more general statement. The way the world is turning in Canada is if you are pursuing a job that's aligned with labor shortages, you're going to have a really good chance of success. If you don't, it's going to be harder for you. Plain and simple.
And then one last question. What's the length of the loan? So I know the answer, but go ahead.
Yes. The master's programs are 5 years. The college programs are 7 years.
Right. And that's the amount of time that you get to pay back the loan.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you can repay earlier at any time. So if your family wins the lottery and they want to fully repay the loan, so you pay less interest, that's A-okay by me.
Yes.
I'm here to give access. So if you work, I don't know, 2 jobs somehow, and you make more money and you want to repay it faster, there's no penalties, no charges. I'm happy for you to do so.
Yes. Perfect.
Yeah.
And this last question, this person asking questions is a faithful shower upper. So I want to give her some credit for, she's really serious about this endeavor and she's been showing up to all the lives. She's booked coaching calls with me. She's done a lot of things. So thank you so much, Kim, for being on here and participating so well. Your last question, I'm actually going to answer with our closing here. So what is the typical starting salary for cybersecurity? Passage has done an amazing job on their website with information that is attached to the universities or colleges, the programs, and then the labor market information about those programs. So they have median salary ranges. All of that is available on the Passage website. And it's going to just take you browsing the website and getting all that information there. So the link is in the chat, but I will drop it here again. And if you're rewatching this replay, the link is in the description below to click, head over to Passage's website, and you'll get all the information there to answer any more questions that you have. And feel free to drop me an email or even connect with support over at Passage if you have any more questions or anything like that. Any closing words? Did I miss anything in my answer?
No, you were perfect. Thank you so much. This is always such a fun, and you're such a pro. I love watching. I learn so much from you every time we get to chat.
Same. And I'm glad to be on board with Passage and look forward to seeing how things unfold. Thank you guys for joining. Hit the subscribe button, like this video. If this was helpful for you, share it with somebody who you know it will be helpful for, and I will see you in the next video. Bye on YouTube.